Yo, what is up, guys? This is Troy D from the Troy D 24/7 Mall channel, your source for on point and no hype reviews. We are back yet again, everybody. We're back with another fragrance review right here, guys, on my lovely day off. And today I will be talking about a fragrance that you guys requested, the latest fragrance coming out of the house of Zaharoff. And this fragrance definitely comes in with some hype, some mystery, some intrigue, and some people really want to know what the lowdown is on this fragrance. So today, that's precisely what I'll give you, my own perspective on this fragrance right here. Now, before I continue, please do not forget to like and subscribe, guys, okay? Liking, subscribing, and watching the ads is a great big deal to this channel, especially that we are 400 away from 20,000 subscribers. It's quite a big deal for me, guys, so please continue to support the channel, spread these videos around, especially to those that want to get a good, honest, no hype review before spending their hard-earned dollars, euros, or whatever into these fragrances. So thank you so much for your support. Now, I do want to thank a friend of the channel, one of the best decanters in the game, that sent this sample in for review. That's none other than Jared Miller, guys, okay? So please make sure to check him out. I'll link his Facebook below. He's got an amazing collection. If you would like to test the fragrances first before buying a bottle, committing to that, check out Jared's collection. Hit him up on the Facebook link below. And the fragrance we will be talking about today is none other than the latest Zaharoff. This is none other than Halfeti Black Rose. Yes, Halfeti Black Rose. And as of right now, it is still cold, guys. I don't know where you guys are at, but it is cold here in LA. We're supposed to get a storm here tomorrow that will last throughout the week. And so fall winter fragrances are still in play. I know that some of you guys are already watching some of the spring summer ones on the playlist. Now, this fragrance right here really got my interest because, as far as I know, Zaharoff already released a rose fragrance. I think it was called Signature Rose. I skipped on that, and really what I love about Zaharoff is the overall character of each fragrance that he has. I mean, I haven't tried the ones that the YouTubers made with him, but in terms of the original, the first three or first four, plus Tabak, which I love, by the way, in my opinion, Zaharoff fragrances, when it comes to the character, these are all gentlemanly, very usable, upscale to just regular grabber. And, you know, the cost is pretty great on these. High usability, high compliment factor, and that's what Zaharoff is to me. Now, this one right here really got my attention because you have the word Halfeti. And Halfeti is basically a municipality in Turkey. So Halfeti Rose basically means Turkish rose. And to me, knowing George, there is a reason why he did this, why he made an additional rose fragrance now with the Halfeti name, because by concept, this is a rose fragrance that's supposed to be different this time. I mean, if you look at the concept, the writing on this fragrance, George basically thought that the first rose fragrance that he put out was relatively safe, okay, and that he wanted something to depart from that. Okay, slightly depart from the safety of Zaharoff fragrances. I mean, because that is the backbone of Zaharoff fragrances. They're very safe, they're very usable, they're very grabber-like. That's why the mainstream loves these fragrances, but this is supposedly a departure. Now, what will we find out here? Is this truly a departure from that safety? Is this something where he's really going out of his realm into somewhere else and is risking it with this Halfeti Black Rose? Let's go spray this thing right now and find out. Okay, guys, now let's talk about the latest Zaharoff fragrance, Halfeti Black Rose. Starting with the opening, you're going to get black pepper, basil, and bergamot. But in actuality, as you spray this fragrance, you will already have the early appearance of rose, okay, without a doubt. So it's black pepper, rose, basil, and bergamot. Now, this opening, I will speak extensively about this because really what's interesting about this fragrance is the opening, actually, because really if you're familiar with rose fragrances and that type of formula, you already know black pepper mixed with rose, mixed with musk, mixed with oud, and probably incense is kind of like a predictable formula, especially in Middle Eastern scents. But what I love about this opening is that although George wanted a departure from the Zaharoff formula, he leaves some in for the OG lovers of Zaharoff via the opening of this fragrance. And the reason why I say that is because of this combo right here, your aromatic basil. I know that George loves lavender as well. He uses lavender and aromatic green scents right in the get-go of his fragrances to give that Zaharoff character. And I would say that positively here in the opening, you'll still get some of that via that basil and bergamot, even if there's already that slight preview of the black pepper and rose coming in as soon as you spray this fragrance, guys. So that's really good. I'm really glad that he didn't fully depart on this, and you still have a little bit of Zaharoff in the beginning. Now, in my opinion, this opening right here is a great intro to rose scents for the gents out there that maybe are not familiar with rose and would like a nice transition into it, guys, because like I said, the rose right here, it just swirls around in the beginning and it's coupled with some spice of black pepper. So it's not really like a deep rose immediately. And like I said, because you still have this citrus aromatic vibe to balance things out, it makes this a great intro for those that are really kind of like thinking rose is a risky thing. It's a nice tryout if you actually would like a rose fragrance. Okay, now let's talk about the initial sillage and projection of this fragrance. Now, a lot of people actually hate on the Zaharoff fragrances because they consider the fragrances weak. But in my opinion, I mean, having tried a lot of them for the past how many years, guys, I really feel like Zaharoff's style is precisely what you get in each fragrance that he has. It's not that it's strong, it's that it's just enough as a consistent lingering scent. It's enough to create the mood enhancing properties that you will get from this intro, but also it has enough strength to get the people around you and draw them in. But it's not necessarily a loud projector, guys, that will take over the room or will create like a huge Bakur centrale like the other rose ouds in the market. This one right here, like I said, has a very good safety factor that all Zaharoffs have. It's relatively safe. It's a nice draw-in, lingering, and mood enhancing. So it's a really nice initial sillage and projection of this fragrance. Okay, guys, now let's talk about the mid of Zaharoff's Halfeti Black Rose. Now, this mid does intensify at the 45-minute mark. Okay, so it starts pretty early. Like I said, the rose starts swirling in as early as 2 seconds. And, it does intensify at the 45-minute mark, guys. Okay, and you have right here Turkish rose, black rose, you have some musk, you have some amber, you have some tonka bean, you have a cashmere accord, which is basically musk and woods, guys. So right here in the mid, I would say that this is really the beginning of the Halfeti side of this fragrance. The risk that George was taking right here, taking it to Middle Eastern territory, it starts here in the mid, guys. So you are going to get that gradient blanket of musk and rose, and it is truly deep, dark, and possibly masculine in terms of the rose content here, guys. Now, one thing I will say is that it is still partially balanced. I know that some of you are probably thinking that it will go to somewhat of a deep rose that could be femme leaning, but actually, guys, there are two things here that make it very balanced and possibly even masculine. Number one is the rose character being a dark, deep rose. It's not necessarily sweet, and the amber is actually the one that provides the sweetness. It's the balancer in this mid that makes it, although a gradient rose, there's still that honeyed sweetness of amber that balances it out, kind of continues the trend started by the bergamot and the basil in the beginning, guys. So it's really a nice balanced rose experience. I would say dreamy, enchanting, but again, you will still have that balance that Zaharoff is known for. Now, the thing about this fragrance is that if you're not a note hacker, if you're actually not too familiar with a lot of the notes, is that it's actually just a continuum of rose and deeper gradient notes, guys. And that's basically the experience there. So if you like this enchanting feeling of going through that, then it's gonna be like that all the way till the end, guys. But of course, I'm the perfume hacker, so I'll tell you guys the differences that happen in the dry down. Now, the dry down right here to me is partially green, guys. Okay, so that's the balance that's right here in the dry down. Again, to many, it just might feel like a continuous rose incense right here towards the dry down, guys. And it does remind me in a way of some of the Louis Vuitton rose fragrances, not Ombre Nomad because that's pretty animalic, but I would say like the combination of Lisab Rose and Nuit de Fa, you know, if you put them together, guys, you know, and it is pretty much an incense dry down mixed in with that dark rose. The oud is pretty much a dark woody oud. I mean, it's mixed in with the incense, no big deal. But the big thing that I like about this fragrance is you do have vetiver in the dry down as well as some green cypriol oil, and I can really smell the standout green parts, the herbal parts right here in the dry down that again creates that balance. Again, for many people, you might think that it's just a deep dark rose throughout, but for me, I do smell the balancers, the amber in the mid, the green notes, the green notes of vetiver and cypriol in the dry down to balance it out as well. It's not really an entirely boring experience of just having it as rose, guys. So I really like this dry down. Again, the oud right here is non-animalic. It's more incense, rose, and vetiver, and a little bit of green right here on the dry down. Okay, guys, now let's hear my verdict on this fragrance right here, Zaharoff Halfeti Black Rose. Now, it is my opinion that this fragrance, after trying and testing this multiple times, is still very much a Zaharoff. Okay, it's still very much a Zaharoff, which might be a sigh of relief for a lot of fans of the brand. Now, definitely, I will say this, that there is some radical change here, of course, going into a Middle Eastern rose tangent, Halfeti rose, going in with Turkish rose, the blanket of musks and cypriol and incense. This is something that's pretty different for the brand. However, upon testing this multiple times, I will say this, that the gentlemanly facet, the multiple usages that you can use here, a nice intro, a safe intro to rose, as well as the grabber slash upscale grabber quality that all Zaharoffs have, is still quite intact in this fragrance, guys. I like that the intro still had some Zaharoff in it, and then in the mid to the end, you will get that kind of like LV style standard issue like rose, Middle Eastern rose formula. Not too foreign, which is good, but I reckon a lot of people that like rose and deep dark Middle Eastern formulas that have rose will enjoy this ending right here. But like I said, I like the duality. I like that you still have both on this fragrance, and I reckon this is why this fragrance is currently sold out in the big bottle formula. Now, price-wise, in my opinion, this is a full bottle worthy fragrance. And again, there is a reason why this is sold out, because at $195 for more than 100 ml, I think that it's super worth it. I mean, I wouldn't even want to buy the 60 ml at $150. I mean, why would you do that? Just pre-order or wait for the bigger bottle to restock, because this could be a standalone rose formula for a lot of people that really don't collect rose and would like a little bit, you know, of both worlds. Some Zaharoff safety and gentlemanliness with the rose. Now, this fragrance right here is also, in my opinion, a draw-in type of fragrance. I think that the sensuality of the rose and musks will really draw in a lot of people. Now, for the user, and this is really one of the bread and butters of Zaharoff right here, is that it's also mood enhancing because of the intro with the citrus aromatics blended in, but also, of course, the sensuality of the rose. And the price is not astronomical for this type of rose, which I believe is kind of like, again, similar to how LV does its rose, guys, and so that makes it very nice on the price. So I think, again, this is full bottle worthy. Now, total performance on this fragrance is 9 hours significant scent, and I would say skin scent until 11. And of course, that's not gonna be as crazy as your eternal smelling rose, oud, Middle Eastern formulas that are from other more expensive houses, but I would say that Zaharoff is more forward leaning and mid leaning versus dry down leaning. And it's not really about the long lasting eternal scent of these fragrances. It's more of like that initial mood enhancing impact all the way up to 9 hours, guys. And when it comes to that, that's pretty amazing. That's, I've gotten used to that when it comes to Zaharoff fragrances. Not super long lasting, but again, that intro to mid to now dry down with that sensual rose incense gradient really makes this fragrance a complete fragrance, guys. So I like the performance, got no issues with that whatsoever. Now, here's a question that some of y'all might be asking. Is this fragrance unisex or masculine leaning? I would say that being a Zaharoff fan, this is masculine leaning. However, I wouldn't be surprised if this would be a unisex thing as well. The intro of this, the gentlemanly intro of this is very masculine leaning. The rose is not super sweet to where it goes into that jammy rose that, women's rose fragrances are at. No vanilla, so it's not going there. So it is really safe for men to use, guys. But again, because of that musk, that incense, that sensuality right there, the Halfeti part of this fragrance, I really reckon women will like this as well. Now, weather and climate-wise, in my opinion, this fragrance is built as a fall-winter fragrance, definitely. But I think because of that citrus aromatic intro and the balancers, you can still use this in AC environments wherever you are around the world. Okay, I think that even if you're in the Philippines and it's hot out there, you can still use this in AC environments, special occasions, upscale venues, you name it. Okay, really, really balanced right there. Now, that is it. That is my no hype review on Zaharoff's Halfeti Black Rose. Let me know in the comments below what y'all think of this fragrance. If this was exactly what you got testing this fragrance. If you love it, you don't love it, is it too much rose for you? I would like to know in the comments below. And again, please do not forget to like and subscribe as we are headed to 20K. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video. I'll be going into a Tom Ford on the next one and the latest Initio, guys. So hang on tight. I'll see you guys. Peace.